What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Movie Emporium's movie review of Memory, the newest film from director Martin Campbell. Now, before we begin, if you like this channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button as well as commenting below on any video that you watch, including this one. So based off the book from Jeff Garrett's, this story of Memory is of course about a contract hit killer who of course is played by Liam Neeson. He's very good at his job, of course. He's very good at adapting to his locales. But like a lot of these stories, he decides he's going to retire but is offered one more hit. Well, that hit ends up being something that he doesn't agree with. He doesn't feel he should do it. So he ends up saying he's not doing it. And then he gets the contract put on him as his people that he worked with are now against him. Well, on the other side of the spectrum, we have, of course, Pearce's character, who is an FBI agent. He is basically in charge of trying to figure out this human trafficking ring that might be connected to Monica Bellucci's character. And it becomes a whole big what it is and how difficult it is to control something in the United States when it's kind of ballooned out of control. Ray Stevenson's in this movie, and it's basically about two sides of the coin and how they eventually converge on one another. So it's kind of safe to say at this point that Liam Neeson action films are pretty much dime a dozen anymore these days. They're not very good. They're usually, the same thing, the same plot over and over and over, just different settings. And I think Liam Neeson's gotten to a point where he just does it for a paycheck. I don't think he actually does it for credibility anymore. But it is a Liam Neeson action film. It is directed Martin Campbell, who I like as a director, even though he's had some stuff that hasn't worked out. And the premise seemed like a pretty interesting, fun time, I guess you could say. I mean, the last film he did, which is Blacklight, was not very good, and this is the same company distributing it, which I appreciate them letting me review this film. But I was still intrigued, to watch it. I'm always good for a good brainless action film. And for a Martin Campbell, Liam Neeson action film, I actually think this film is pretty competent. It's not a great film. It is fun and has its moments, but I think the subject matter is so dour and disgusting that it actually feels like it's running into, I want to say, Taken territory, to be fairly honest, which was a much, much better film. So it does stumble in that respect, but when you go into films like this and you expect something like Blacklight or Unknown or The Commuter or any of the movies he's done that hasn't been The Gray, you just don't expect very much out of it. So I think my ambitions and my anticipations were low for this film, that I end up liking it much, much more than I was expecting. And the reason for that is this film feels very much like the other Martin Campbell film that he did in this type of, I want to say, close genre, which was, of course, Edge of Darkness, which was another adaptation film that had Mel Gibson in it. It's a film that deals with a central character who has individuals that he relies upon, but when things go downhill, they go downhill quick, and the people that he knows and trusts actually turn on him. And then it has a bad guy that's, really well known, like a Monica Bellucci, or I can't remember who the bad guy was in that movie. But I always had very much similarities in just his subject matter and its core kind of push forward and its action. So I thought, with that said, I actually kind of enjoyed that film. I actually own it. So it was something that kind of, it was good. It was good for what it's worth. And that's the same thing here. I think this is a film that does rely on, Liam Neeson's action abilities and stuff like that, and it does what it needs to do, but it's just a film that you're going to forget about a couple of days later. It's going to be a movie that you're going to see in the theaters, enjoy for what it's worth, even though the subject matter is a little dour. You're going to see it on cable television or a streaming service, and you're going to watch it and you're like, that's cool, it's another Liam Neeson action film. It is what it is. But I think in the sense that because Martin Campbell is directing it and he is a competent director for what it's worth, I think it's a film that at least attempts to be somewhat whole, I guess you could say. It doesn't feel like it's insulting your intelligence. I think the acting is pretty decent in the movie. Pearce, like I said, is pretty decent. Monica Bellucci's pretty decent. Ray Stevenson's in this movie. He gained a lot of weight for this movie, apparently, or he just weighs a lot in general. But he's pretty decent in this movie, and I think, for the hour and 50-minute runtime, it doesn't, overstay its welcome. It does what it needs to do, and I think, is at least a competent movie in the end. So anyways, with that said, I overall enjoyed this movie. I thought it was entertaining. It has its problems with, storytelling and pacing a little bit, but it's a movie that really is a better Liam Neeson action film than what's worth, and it's kind of cool to see him as a contract hit killer, I guess you could say. So anyways, I guess that'll do it. That'll be my take on this film, which is Memory. Thank you so much for watching. Comments below, what is your favorite Liam Neeson action film? Are you looking forward to this film? All that good stuff. But anyways, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.